Hello friends, welcome to the third part of chapter number 10, Light, Reflection and Refraction of grade 10th. In the previous topic, we discussed about first property of light, that is reflection. Now in this module, we are going to study about second property of light, that is refraction of light. We have already studied in lower standards that light always travels in straight path, which is also called rectilinear propagation of light. So when light travels in a transparent medium like air, it follows a straight line path. But what happens when light enters from one transparent medium to another? Does it still move along a straight line? The answer is no. Now, in order to understand why, we have to take some examples from our day-to-day life experiences. You might have observed that the bottom of a tank or a pond containing water appears to be raised. Say for example, swimming pool or fish aquarium. When we observe swimming pool or fish aquarium from the top, we observe that its bottom surface appears to be raised. But when the same fish aquarium is observed from the side view, its bottom appears to be much deeper. In the same way, we can take one more example. Have you seen a pencil partly immersed in water in a glass tumbler? It appears to be displaced at the interface of air and water. So in air, you can see the pencil appears to be straight, but inside water, it appears to be bent. So the interface which is separating air and water shows the bending of pencil image, as if it is broken. Similarly, you might have observed that a lemon kept in water in a glass tumbler appears to be bigger than its actual size when viewed from the sides. So here is one more image which shows size of lemon is much bigger compared to the actual size when it is immersed in water. All these examples point to one common property of light, that is refraction. Now what happens actually in refraction? See, when the light reaching from the portion of the pencil inside water seems to come from different direction compared to the part above water. This makes the pencil appear to be displaced at interface. This clearly shows that light slightly bends from its actual path when it enters from one transparent medium, that is air, to another transparent medium, that is water. So this bending of light due to change in the medium is known as refraction of light. Now if instead of water we use liquids like kerosene or turpentine oil, you will find that the extent of this effect is different for different pair of media. That means for different transparent mediums, we will observe different levels of bending. These observations indicate that light does not travel in the same direction in all media. So, when light travels obliquely from one medium to another medium, the direction of propagation of light in the second medium changes. This phenomena is known as refraction of light. Now let us understand this phenomena further by doing few activities. Activity 1. Place a coin at the bottom of a bucket filled with water, or you can also take a glass filled with water. With your eye to a side above water, try to pick up the coin in one go. Did you succeed in picking up the coin? Repeat the activity. Why did you not succeed in doing it in one go? So as you can see, when we will place the coin at the bottom of glass and try to observe it, we will be confused in actual and apparent position of the coin. The one which you observe here is not the actual position, but it is the apparent position of coin, which is observed due to refraction of light. Hence, we will not be able to pick up the coin in one go. Activity 2. Place a large bowl on a table and put a coin in it. Move away slowly from the bowl. Stop when the coin just disappears from your sight. Now ask your friend to pour water gently into the bowl without disturbing the coin. Keep looking for the coin from your position. Does the coin becomes visible again from your position? How could this happen? So let's observe this activity. First, we will put the coin inside the bowl, and now we will move away from the bowl so that the coin disappears. Now we will ask our friend or someone to pour water in the bowl. Now slowly, coin starts to reappear again. Now how this happened? This also happened because of refraction of light, which shows us the apparent position of the coin once we pour water in the bowl. Refraction through a glass slab. Now to understand the phenomena of refraction of light through a glass slab, let us do an activity. Fix a sheet of white paper on a drawing board using drawing pins. Place a rectangular glass slab over the sheet in the middle. Draw the outline of the slab with a pencil. Let us name the outline as A, B, C, D. Now take 4 identical pins. Fix 2 pins, say E and F, vertically such that the line joining the pins is inclined to the edge AB. Look for the images of pins E and F through the opposite edge of the slab. Fix other 2 pins, say G and H, such that these pins and the image of E and F lie on a straight line. Remove the pins and the slab. Join the positions of tips of pin E and F and produce the line up to AB. Let EF meet AB at point O. Similarly, join the positions of tips of pin G and H and produce it up to the edge CD. Let HG meet CD at O'. Also join O and O' and produce EF up to P. Now let us try to understand more clearly with the help of an activity. First, we will take a glass slab on a drawing paper and we will draw the outlines of the edges of glass slab. So, after drawing this, now we will mark the edges as A, B, C and D and fix one point at the middle of AB and we will draw a normal at that point. Now we will draw an inclined line at AB, which we will consider as an incident ray. Now we will fix 2 drawing pins E and F on this inclined line at AB. Just 3 or 5 centimeters away, we will put another drawing pin. Now we will again put back the rectangular slab and try to observe the images of the pins. So once you observe the image of pins, put another 2 pins at positions G and H so that all of them lie in one line. After doing this, we will remove both the image pins and mark their positions as G and H. Now we will join these two lines with CD with the help of scale and pencil. Once we draw this line, this will be considered as emergent ray. Now the point of incidence will be marked as O and the point of emergence will be marked as O dash. We will join O and O dash again with the help of pencil. This will be considered as refracted ray. Now we will draw one more normal at the point of emergence. Now this is our angle of incidence. Let's say it is 45 degree and this is angle of emergence. This is angle of refraction. Now let's draw incident ray inside the glass with a dotted line. Now you will observe that the actual incident ray and the emergent ray are parallel to each other. However, it is slightly shifted. So, in the figure which we have drawn, you can see EO is the incident ray, OO dash is the refracted ray, and O dash H is the emergent ray. So you may observe that the emergent ray is parallel to the direction of the incident ray. Why does it happen so? This happens because of refraction of light. That is, when light enters from air to glass medium at air-glass interface, the speed of light slightly changes, due to which it bends inside the glass medium. Again, when light comes out from glass-air interface, the emergent ray has again changed its position. So, there is a slight sideward shift of the emergent ray compared to the direction of incident ray, which was the actual direction. This slight shift is known as lateral shift. Now you are familiar with the refraction of light. Refraction is due to change in speed of light as it enters from one transparent medium to another. Experiments so far shows us that refraction of light occurs according to certain laws. These laws are called laws of refraction. The first law says that the incident ray, the refracted ray, and the normal to the interface of two transparent media at the point of incidence all lie in the same plane. Second, the ratio of sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction is a constant for the light of a given color and for the given pair of media. This law is also known as Snell's law of refraction. That is, sine of I upon sine of R is equal to constant. The constant which appears on right hand side of the equation is also known as refractive index. So now let us understand what is the meaning of refractive index. Now in order to understand refractive index, we can link an important physical quantity, that is relative speed of propagation of light in different media. हम ये बात जानते हैं कि लाइट जो है वो वैक्यूम में सबसे ज़्यादा फास्ट ट्रेवल करती है, हैविंग स्पीड ऑफ 3 × 10⁸ मीटर पर सेकेंड. लेकिन जैसे ही वो वैक्यूम से एयर में एंटर होती है उसकी स्पीड थोड़ी सी रिड्यूस हो जाती है. So the value of the refractive index for a given pair of media depends upon the speed of light in the two media. Now let us consider a ray of light traveling from one medium into another medium. Let's say medium 1 is air and medium 2 is a glass slab. Let us assume V1 as the speed of light in medium 1, that is air, and V2 be the speed of light in medium 2, that is glass. Now in order to find refractive index of medium 2 with respect to medium 1, we can obtain it by taking a ratio of speed of light in medium 1 upon speed of light in medium 2. This will be the refractive index of medium 2 with respect to 1, which will be denoted by a symbol N21. So N21, that is refractive index of 2 with respect to 1, can be given as ratio of speed of light in medium 1 upon speed of light in medium 2, that is V1 upon V2. Similarly, if we want to find out refractive index of medium 1 with respect to medium 2, it can be denoted by N12, where N12 is equal to speed of light in medium 2 upon speed of light in medium 1, which will be equal to V2 upon V1. If medium 1 is vacuum or air, then the refractive index of medium 2 is considered with respect to vacuum. This is known as absolute refractive index. So, if refractive index is considered with respect to vacuum, we call it absolute refractive index. It is simply represented as N2. If C is denoted as speed of light in air and V is denoted as speed of light in any medium, then the formula of refractive index can be given by Nm is equal to C upon V. That is speed of light in air upon speed of light in the medium. So, there are various optically denser medium for which the refractive index can be seen in the table, such as air, ice, water, alcohol, kerosene, glycerine, normal glass, benzene, crown glass, Canada balsam, rock salt, dense flint glass, ruby, sapphire, and diamond. Diamond is considered as most optically denser medium, having refractive index of 2.42. Remember one thing, that refractive index not only depends on density, but it also depends upon the color of the medium. Let's see an example of kerosene. Kerosene is least denser compared to water. However, it is having more refractive index compared to water. So, this does not only depends upon density, it also depends upon color of the medium. So this brings us to the end of third part of chapter number 10, light reflection and refraction. In the next video, we will discuss about refraction by spherical lenses and also image formation by spherical lenses. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel Vigyan Shala and also press the bell icon for more notifications of new videos.